All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to take a look at the Rockin' Horrors trailer, the summer update coming from the Phobies team. Now, I looked at this before. I'm excited about it. We're going to pause it at different points. We'll probably watch it through, actually, and then we'll go back and see if we can pick out and identify exactly what is being demonstrated to us, because there's a lot of things that are in here. We're going to find out in just a few more days when the patch drops. Of course, you can check out, and hopefully I'll remember to put the thumbnail here, the balance patch breakdown, because I already put out my initial thoughts on it. So we're getting the game shaken up on a multitude of different fronts. But let's take a peek at the trailer. Now, of course, I have to let everybody know before we dive into everything that I am part of the content affiliate program. That means that the Phobies team does in fact give me coffee for producing Phobies content, like what you're watching. But they also provide prizes for our weekly tournament series, Monster of the Week. We also have an async tournament running. That doesn't have prizes at the moment, but it is named A-Shriek. If you're interested in Phobies tournaments where everything's set to level 1, hit up the Random Thoughts Discord. The link for that is in the description of this video, of course, by the like and subscribe button. But without much further ado, let's get to it here. First of all, I gotta say, I love the theme. I love the music in this, too. Like, it's quite clearly Phobies, but, like, also Skinwalker might be one of my favorite Phobies now. The fish tank looks sick. Dude, like, everything about this looks so sick. I'm super excited. I don't know what Vendy's doing there at the end, but all right. So let's take a look at the trailer. Obviously, we get the initial stuff with just explaining who the Phobies are. We get a Brony recolor. Benny is a new model, unless you want to say it's a heavily modified Stabby. Whiskers, I don't think we have anything new. Ace is obviously Fish Tank. Trivolta, I don't think is anything. Skinwalker could be a heavily modified Yeti. Alright, so Skinwalker obviously has some sort of ability here. But to be honest, this goes by so quick, I can't quite tell. Like, that looks awesome. But I can't tell what the hell is happening, to be honest. Like, it goes by way too quickly. These are all enemy Phobies next to Skinwalker. Yo, it's good, DT. It feels like this is a buff. But I don't see the, like, we're talking
God!
like,
They're gonna do it! They're gonna hit him with the heebie-jeebies special!
heebie-jeebies special. I don't know why that's coming on. Yeah, I think Skinwalker is like a heavily modified Yeti, but it looks sick. Like, the actual Phobie model looks dope. I don't know. Oh, and I think it was confirmed that Whiskers is going to be the exclusive Phobie, like the $100 one. So I don't know what this ability does. It could be a Cluck Norris thing where it's a self buff, but again, I don't see the buff slash marks thing. Whiskers is the $100 Phobie. Yeah, I think that was confirmed in Ask the Devs, because Karst, like, in the article, I forget which outlet had it, but in the article, they made a statement that made it sound like there were going to be custom skins, and it was confirmed there are not. And I could have sworn, like, you know, might as well go look. Hold on. Hold, please. We'll go check. Ask the Devs. This is all in Ask the Devs. Yeah, Nico Ray confirmed that no, there are no skins like like cosmetics. But what she thinks the misinterpretation by Pocket Gamer, who wrote the article, is that Skinwalker is the exclusive offer Phobie. So they somehow took Skinwalker and made it exclusive skins. I think I said Whiskers, but yeah, Skinwalker is the exclusive one. So this guy. But I can't tell what the ability is at all. If anybody has any ideas, let me know, because it goes by too quick. So this appears to be placing a trap, or I think this is going to be a Doom ability. Because we see the Leela, it's showing the area, and it's 1, 2. This is only a 2 range, it looks like. So it's small, because Doom is 3 range, isn't it? I'm pretty sure Doom is 3. I'm checking the client. No, it's only 2. Huh. Interesting. So yeah, this is therefore the same range as Doom. I am hoping, praying, that it is at the start of your turn, do a Doom. Because otherwise, if this is an activated ability to look for traps, that's doo-doo. Calling it right now, Whiskers will have a pounce like cassowary. We'll see. So, here's the thing. I don't know if that's a burrow, and that's the burrow animation, or does it actually have a teleport that, like, it burrows and then burrows to Doom number 9? Yo, DT is right. It's Doom number 9. Oh, not like this. Not like this. No, they did it to him. So, it's a burrow. I believe the wall allows it to burrow past. Also in replays. But you can't burrow under abyss tiles. So I think this is a teleport. I think this is some sort of teleport. Because if you had Grimes right now, you can't Grimes to that spot. The video cuts? What? I see what you're saying, but that feels like where you can move around twice. It's possible. It's possible that it like burrowed here and then moved again to here. That would be extremely disappointing, honestly. Like, that feels exceptionally misleading to do it that way. I kind of hope that it is just you get to burrow teleport. I think it teleported the trap. It would be interesting if it teleports to traps, because if Whiskers is supposed to be a mouse or a rat, then it's like, oh, it's drawn to the mouse trap. You know where I'm going with this? I don't get where, I mean, so the theme for the expansion is like rock music and general like music, like it automatically gets moved to disable trap. It sees that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, DT. It would be cool if that was the case, and in which case that ability still is bad, because now what if I don't want to move to the trap because like the trap is somewhere else? So I'll come back to the music thing, but like if you auto teleport to the trap, that isn't necessarily good. And it also, if that's the case, how does it prioritize things if it's multiple traps? The nearest, and then we had, like, God help us if we have we have to get another freaking diagram of how boops and pulls and then this teleport works of like, well, there's 3 traps that are on the board, and there are 2 trains traveling, one from San Francisco and one from New York, one going at 7. Like, I don't want to take the SATs to figure out where the hell these things are going to go. Like, I did that years ago. I'm not doing it again. I mean, it would be interesting. And I wouldn't put it past the team to do that. The teleport thing to the nearest trap. Nearest, I guess, enemy trap to disable it. But that is going to get real weird to figure out where it's going to go. Definitely an interesting phobia. I kind of like Whiskers. Like, I just like the thing. But where I was going with it earlier with the, on a visual point, he looks great. Absolutely. Absolutely. But where I was going with it earlier is, where is the music theme for this guy? Like, does he bust out some drums when he attacks or something? I don't get it. Like, why doesn't Skinwalker have an electric guitar or something? I feel like, have we had any, I guess the anniversary themes, but they're just kind of like, hey, it's the birthday for Phobies. You know, like we had Symphony of the Undead, we had Full Disclosure, we had like all the Halloween ones undead themed. All right, makes sense. The summer updates, we had Full Disclosure and whatever the other one was. And then we had the anniversary ones. This one feels like it's somewhat of a stretch as far as I'm not seeing where the music theme applies to this. You get what I mean? Maybe it has an ability that teleports to a trap 2 tiles max from it and absorbs the same turn, which would in turn allow you to escape the same turn. Hypothetically, yes. Under Pressure. Under Pressure yes, that was the name of the other one. And that one also made sense because we had things like Radiator. And whatever the boiler guy was. Yeah, the furnace guy. Furnace Face. Literally Furnace Face. I couldn't think of his name. I had a brain fart. Like, that made sense. It applied. I don't see where the music connection is yet. We'll see if it comes back. But anyway, Whiskers, jury's out. Okay, so he does eat the trap. He does clearly eat the trap. You can see it at the end, and he also has a funny... This guy... I don't know why, but this is so funny. It's funny when Tickles does it. It's funny when this guy does it. Yo, I want this, just this, as a reaction GIF. Oh my God, this is so good. I love this. I love it. This makes me very happy. This makes me unreasonably happy. There's a Tickles inside him. You know, when a mommy Tickles and a daddy Tickles love each other very much, they make a Whiskers, I guess. Or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. Look at Leela staring on and just like, really, bruh? Really? This is what we're doing? So, anyway, we have a potential teleport. Okay, hold on. Look at his back legs here. How cartoony-ass back leg, like... This looks like Looney Tunes, and I love it. I'm here for it. Whiskers number 9. Yep. All right. No, it's Doom number 9. DT already coined that. It's Doom number 9. I really like this. This is really funny to me. I adore Whiskers. This is something I want a plushie of. And don't even say, oh, it's an undead. You can't, like, it's ugly. Because you know what? I've showed this guy before. I literally have a Warcraft 3 Abomination. And yes, those are supposed to be intestines. And that's his spine. This is Stitches. Anyway, let's move on from Whiskers. I think we beat Whiskers to death. All right, so we have our Brony recolor. Gotta love the 80s glam rock hair. Shout out to Brony. Shout out to Brony Stylist. Well, it's really Omega's Stylist, which, by the way, I love the name Omega. Omega is dope. All right, so here's we have to really pay attention to detail here. Trying to get to the beginning of the animation. Okay, so Jar, Razormouth, and Henrietta are allied. Alligator is an enemy. Bats, yep. That is, as far as I can tell, an AoE attack buff that will buff literally anything. I'm calling it right now, this phobia is either broken or useless. The only way it will be useless is if the numbers are too low. If this phobie is viable, like Omega looks like Edgar Allan on steroids, yes. So here's the thing. I kind of expect this to be a 7-cost phobie, at least 7. And it's probably going to have no attack. Like, also, what the hell is this eyeball here? Is this part of the animation? Just like Eye of Sauron? Why is this so big? I expect this to be 7 like Brony. I expect it to have no attack like Brony. So you need to have a lot of value generated from this. However, this is a symmetrical effect, and symmetrical effects are almost always breakable. The reason being is because you get to choose when the effect goes off. So clearly you only do it when it's beneficial to you. And a scenario of, hey, your opponent's just in range. This is just like what we were describing during the patch breakdown of the new version of Collector, or the new version of Flesh Crawler, or the new version of a bunch of other phobies that, like Blondie, it allows you to initiate successfully, because if you go in and you only get one attack, often you can get one thing because you have to concentrate all your guys on it, and it's not enough to wipe out the other phobies. Now, if you buff everything, you don't care about buffing their guys, because guess what? Your guys are dead. They can't damage me if they're dead. The best defense is a great offense. Just go kill them. It's that simple. If it buffs your phobies by 300 plus, it'll be unbelievably broken. I agree. If it buffs by old Gonzo numbers, this thing is broken. If it's modern Gonzo numbers, or like if it's between Edgar Allan and Gonzo, I'm not sure. If it's Edgar Allan, I think this thing is doo-doo. Depending on whether it has an attack. Like, I'm assuming it can't attack. If it can attack, A, that means they gave Brony a new attack animation, which is kind of cool. B, that means that it has other value. But since it's not buffing itself, like you don't see the effect impacting it, unless the ability literally says buff everything else, which is possible, I'm assuming it doesn't have an attack. Literally spam 1 to 3 keys. It's the Jackalope plan. Now the Jackalopes are busted. If it buffs for 280 plus damage, it would be between good and bad or decent. Those would literally be all the options, W. It's either good, it's bad, or it's in the middle. Like, yes, it is one of those things. Like, what? That's like deep philosophical, deep philosophy 101 thoughts. Well, something could be good, or it could be bad, or it could be all right. Yes. Anyway. So yeah, I'm concerned about this initially. One thing. What's the range? Well, it's obviously 3. So same as Brony. It's obviously 3 because they can hit the jar here, but it can't hit 1, 2. It can't hit this Gravedigger up here. This is all just going to come down to numbers. We'll see what the numbers are. Do we get to see anything in that? Yo, imagine seeing a spider like this. Imagine living in Australia, and this is an everyday occurrence. Your local Omegas are buffing the Huntsman, and they are just turning everything into like a B horror movie. I think it'll be a good phobia. It is just to put it behind your own phobies so it'll not affect enemies. No, I think you still affect your enemies. You just don't care because you'll just kill them all. Like I legitimately, again, it will come down to the number. You say that, Dante Goldtrousers. Yes, the spider, the alligator's natural predator. But at some points in history, that was probably true. There were way bigger bugs at one point in time. But anyway, I don't think, DD, that it matters if you, because you just kill them. If you take, like, imagine if those 3 phobies, the jar, the cat, and the Henrietta, can kill that alligator. I'm not saying that that is true, but imagine if it could. Like, it doesn't matter. Now imagine you have better phobies. Like, imagine a Klepto. You have Klepto and some other AoE phobie, and you just go ballistic on their team. Yes, you could position it such that you don't have to buff their team. Absolutely. But I don't think it will matter if you do. However, I do think the possibility that you can position that you don't have to buff their team means that this guy probably only buffs like 100 damage. Which might put it in the doo-doo category, but we'll see. All right, so we got another new phobie. I don't think this guy was shown in the beginning, was he? Which phobie is this? Also, what the hell is happening here? Wait. I don't understand what's happening here. I'm trying to see if I can get it to pause. Okay. Razar. Okay, so here's my question. The jar is clearly an enemy to this new phobie, right? They're facing opposite ways. The sock assassin and the murder wing are not. So is this supposed to be a blue phobie? Like, this is a blue team phobie? Is that what's happening here? It threw me off for a second just because of the way, like, why did they have it fly in from the other side? They could have just set this up on the other side and it would have been easier to parse, but anyway. So obviously this is a flying AoE phobie. I don't think we have flying AoE melee phobie. We obviously have beauty. I don't think we have any others. One thing that I'm unsure of is, and I'd have to go back and look at all the trailers, is there any way to tell which phobie, like how much the phobie costs based on what phobies it's fighting? So for example, we saw Omega and there was an alligator. Is that a hint that it costs 7 or is a higher end phobie? Whereas this is fighting Sockassin and Murderwing, therefore it's a cheaper phobie. Also, this guy is sick, like just with saw blades like this. Tell me this. This reminds me of like a Mega Man 3 bad guy. I know there was Cutman, but wasn't there like Buzzsaw Man too? Where are my Mega Man fans at? Okay, so that annihilated both of them, the Murderwing and the Sockassin, but I don't think we can read too much into that because there's just no, like... They could have been in one health. Like, they can stage these scenarios, so I don't think there's anything to be gleaned from that. But this is kind of cool. It's all going to depend on how much it costs. Like, if this is 5, it's definitely a blue team phobie. Yeah, it probably is. It probably is. I don't know if there's much else to be gleaned from this guy. He does look pretty sick, though. It reminds me of, like, again, like 80s movies kind of thing. All right, so this is... What is this guy's name? Begins with a B, I think, right? Yeah, this is Benny. What is this a reference to? Benny has to be a reference to something. Like a movie or something. I will point out that Benny has a hole in him from shooting out this femur or whatever it is. I'd be very curious if this guy has a reflect effect similar to Stabby. The only reason is just the visual of like the pin cushions, but a voodoo doll inherently like carries that idea of dealing like hurting someone else, whereas I don't know if this guy does. My guess is this guy's another turret. I don't know if we want a 3-cost turret. We already have Snappy at 4 in Undead. We have Unbearable also at 4, I guess. We have Bad Side at 5, so maybe this guy is a 6-cost Undead turret, which seems weird. Hold on. The attack animation is pretty sick, though. The, like, machine gun effect. Like, I do think that's pretty cool. The rest of this went by so fast. I think the 2 phobies that are 3 keys and 1 key, that makes 4 keys. That would be total cost of the flying phobies. It's possible, W's. We might be reading too much into that. But Benny here, I think, is another turret. It doesn't seem to have any other abilities. It's not doing anything other than beating the crap out of boss, which I know there's plenty of people out there that are very happy to see. This is notably ally displacement. If anybody, like, if you look at this, this is ally displacement. Unless this has a 2 range, like, is this not just a worse Shove Shark / Phantom? Why do we need the redundancy? Like, I'm trying to figure out, what does this do that's unique compared to Shove Shark and Phantom? It's obviously not teleporting. It's a Miss Moffat recolor, so it's yoinking. But, like, why do we... There has to be something we're missing here, right? I mean, you could read into this and be like, oh, it Moffat for allies, like Shove versus Finnegan. I mean, there will be scenarios where you... Like, the Moffat displacement will have some value because it's ranged, or the not Moffat here, whatever the hell this is going to be called, because we also don't have the name. And again, I don't understand where the music theme is coming in, but neither here nor there for now. So you get the pull, right? It's a ranged pull. Great. There are times where you would be able to pull with this that you would be unable to reposition with Shove Shark, and you would possibly have Phantom on cooldown. But the way most games play out, also, by the way, this is on Agora, I think. God help us if that comes back. Honest to God, why does Onda hate fun? I'm calling you out, Onda. Why do you hate fun? What is it about fun that you hate the most that you want Agora back? I want to know. Why do you hate fun? But anyway, as far as this goes, it feels like a weird edge case. I got to see what the cooldown is. I want to see what the key cost is. I can see a world where this has some niche use, but it feels like it's just kind of redundant with the existence of Shove Shark and Phantom, where Shove Shark is kind of the regular and repeatable effect, and then and Phantom is the big splashy once in a while effect, and then this is like, well, those are the 2 extremes, so what are you going to do? I doubt they're going to let you do it every single turn, although maybe they will. Because this would hypothetically have to expose itself more than Shove Shark, because Shove Shark can sit behind your team and push the other thing forward. This has to be in your opponent's face and then pull the thing in. I don't know. I'm confident that article exists, Doc. If it's not on The Onion, it probably exists somewhere else. I think that everyone was playing it wrong, and most of us didn't have most of the best tools at the time, so it deserves another chance. I'll give Agora another chance when they give us full access to the map pool in frenemies. Maybe it's supposed to be an evacuate phobie. That could be true, Don Tinkle. The problem I have with that idea is, don't get in that situation. So, like, the eject button options like that are, oops, I made a mistake, let me fix it. But what ends up happening, especially if this thing costs 4 or 5 keys, which I have a hard time believing that it costs 3 or less, if that's the case, you're just losing slower, most likely. because now you've had to make a significant, like a reasonable, moderate investment in this phobie, which maybe saved something, probably not. I guess if you use it as an evacuation tool, you could poke something. So like you send in a guy that would be like a range phobia that would be exposed. You then can and shoot, then you can yoink it back, so it's still technically in range, but your opponent has to commit into you. Like maybe it's going to save your brute worst. Yes. That is a scenario that will absolutely happen and is in no way completely made up or fictitious. I don't know. Like this is another one that I'm going to have to see what it does. It doesn't seem to confer a buff. Displacement is good enough. If we did not already have Shove Shark, I would be super hyped about this. But we already have Shove Shark, and I think the use case for this is going to be more challenging because you have to expose the spider in order to like pull something in to be a threat. If it's the evacuate option, I don't know how much the poking is going to do unless this thing like if this thing has a longer range, like if this cat was down here and it pulled it all the way to here, that would be sick. Because then it's like, yeah, I'll legitimately send in the brute worst. I don't know how I get it in there to begin with, but you can then get your wiener out of trouble. I guess. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so this is Trivolta. Is this hair or is this a brain? I think this is supposed to be hair. It's clearly supposed to be John Travolta in whatever that disco movie is. You know what I'm talking about. So as far as I can tell, first of all, he shoots his hair at you. Is that supposed to be his brain in there? Like these two peanuts? Wiener out of trouble. Yep, been in that situation before. Uh-oh. So this guy clearly, if you can't really see it here, but these purple trails seem like the collector / dial effect. So this is an AoE dial, which is, it looks like it's AoE, and look at look at Eternal Knight. He's just already sick of this. He's already, look, I'm done. Get me out of here. I'm done with this. Notably, we didn't see what the fighting ranges on some of these other phobies were. Like the spider presumably is melee, but we don't technically know. This guy is clearly ranged. He shot his wig or brain or whatever at Gonzo here. But this has potential to be very powerful. Like I said, if this guy's a 2-mover, there's a world in which this is very viable. He's ranged. He has a powerful ability, and the powerful ability also protects him. So, like, he could go in and be the initiator. Like, go in, power down 2 or 3 members of their team. That means he may survive, and they can't even necessarily retreat very well because they're kind of trapped. They only get that one move. He's also seemingly electrical. Probably going to have low health like Dial. Yeah, it's going to depend on what it costs. But he's seemingly electrical based on the damage that... Like, look at this effect. That looks like he's zapping the crap out of Gonzo here. Oh, God. You don't even need to yoink him back. See? The spider's crap. Also, he regrows his brain or something. I don't know. This guy has potential. Enemy needs to have the spider instead. True. Sometimes, like I said earlier, I'm curious, like, if there's any way to infer what the cost is here. Like, why did they choose to demonstrate on Eternal Knight and Conductor? Or, like, to me, if I were doing this, I would put the most random phobies on there, A, to fuel speculation like this, but B, because it does showcase the unique models in phobies. Because remember, these trailers are for phobies players, but they're also intended to be demonstrated to people across the board. So if somebody's like, oh, look at all this cool stuff, you don't want like 8 Jin Stings on the board. It's like, oh, well, everybody looks the same. Now it's like, oh, look at that cool guy. Look at that cool guy. Look at that guy. But anyway. All right, so Sasquatch is clear. Sasquatch, Skinwalker is clearly AoE. Sick attack animation, although I am getting a little sick of the spinning AoE attack. It does look pretty cool, though. So he has whatever his ability was, and then he has this as his attack, because I don't see through this. Like, when he did the thing in the beginning, it like his skull appeared over him, and you don't see it here. So that's still something different. It's not like that was part of his attack animation. This one doesn't appear to be electrical or anything, and it doesn't seem to apply any debuffs or anything like that. But speaking of electrical, new fish tank is just whooping the crap out of Trivolta. Just like beating the ever-loving piss out of him. First of all, I love Fish Tank's new look. What was this guy's name? Did we get his name? Whisker Ace. So another melee electrical guy. We already saw this with Thunder Rocks. Presumably this guy is also a mech. So the bar is very low. I'm not getting excited about this guy. He does look sick though. I'll give him that. Like, I love the vambraces or whatever for his arms that with all the spikes. My man looks like Spawn. Or Kiss, I guess, is really what they're going for. That attack is slightly different, more punches, I think. It probably is a little different. I wouldn't be surprised. They tweaked it a little bit. But other than it being electrical and being a melee phobie, and to be honest, do we need another electrical melee phobie? It's good to have the differentiation, like stratification of the costs, but I don't know. I presume that's just the idle animation and there's nothing there. Also, look at the stunner shades on Omega. You loved it. Oh, there's actually musical notes on Benny. I don't think that's on the model in-game. See, like, all of this stuff, yeah, because, like, you get the hair on Whiskers and the collar and stuff. I don't get and I mentioned this before. I do love that they have an actual band name with the Megadeth style font. Like, I love this. Has anyone out there played Brutal Legend? It was an Xbox 360 era game with Jack Black being the main character, and he gets sucked into the world of rock. And like, I love that game. It was a super fun game. You can still, the developer actually every year on the anniversary of the release still goes back on Xbox Live and plays with people because it had multiplayer. I love all the badass names like Omega or Skinwalker, and then there's Benny. I think Benny, in the context of all this, is even funnier. However, one failure that I have to point out with Benny. Is there are no scarab references in Benny or the model. In fact, Mummy would have been better named Benny. And if you don't know why, go watch The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. First of all, it's a solid movie anyway. Like, it's a good movie anyway. But you should absolutely, like, I kind of want to petition them to change the name, but that's not going to happen for this. That's not going to happen for this. But anyway, I don't understand the connection here between the theme and the Phobies, because there are a couple, like Trivolta, that kind of make sense. Like, Trivolta feels like a music-based thing. I don't, and I guess Ace kind of, because Ace kind of looks like they could have been in Kiss. But the rest of the Phobies are like, They're just Phobies, which is fine. Like, believe me, I like them. But they don't seem like anything music related, so I don't quite get it. It feels like the most disconnected update we've had yet from that perspective. I don't know, like, there's no, other than Trivolta and, like I said, maybe Ace, none of them seem to be remotely music related. Now, the names of the Phobies can be tied to band names or songs, I guess, maybe, but I don't know. At least they have a cool theme, even if not all the Phobies are on theme. Yeah, I'd like to see a Jurassic come someday, or a Jurassic theme come someday. We need more dinosaur Phobies, you're telling me. Yeah, but Under Pressure gave us Cupcake and Leela. Yeah, but Leela is, like, irrelevant. Cupcake is problematic. But you can't say the Cupcake did not put you under pressure. Oh, Chad, I'm excited about the update. I'm looking forward to these new Phobies that are coming down the line, as well as the changes. But let me know what you're thinking down in the comments. Which phobia are you most excited about? That's going to do it for this one. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time for more Random's Thoughts.